What's up, guys? Mark from Spots Music Center, and it's been a long time since we've done a YouTube video, but we're going to try to get back in the swing of things here. I've got 4 different compressor pedals in my hand. I'm going to explain to you what a compressor pedal is, what it does for your signal and your sound coming out of a guitar. The example I'm using today is going to be for acoustic guitar. I feel like a compressor on an acoustic guitar is a very overlooked effect. It's something that I've put on mine in my pedal board since the beginning of time. I've just always liked the way that a compressor responds. With my recording background, compressors are on just about every acoustic guitar track, every vocal track that you've ever heard in existence. Very rarely does a signal not get compressed in recording, so our ears are used to hearing that. But let me explain kind of how these guys work, and then I'm going to play each one for you just to see what color differences there are through a little troubadour amp. I utilize a pedal board when I play acoustic electric. I just have always preferred the sound of it. A compressor for me is always on my signal chain, as well as a reverb. And then the other stuff's kind of just there for fun. So the Boss CS3 is what I'm going to start with as far as explaining to you the pedals I'm going to be trying out. This guy has a level tone, attack, and sustain to it. The CS3, I use this for like 6-7 years on my pedal boards. Really like the color of it. This is a new attempt for me. I've never used the MXR Custom Comp. This guy just has an output and a sensitivity level to it. So interested to see how that colors the sound. My current pedal on my pedal board is the Masamune from NuX. This is a booster and compressor combo. I liked it a little bit more than the CS3 for the Breedlove guitars that I'm running now. It's a little more transparent, doesn't color the sound as much. It also having that boost circuit, I could utilize that for when I get a lot of things going in a loop. I can just bring my signal up, as well as add a little bit of drive if you want to, but I'm only going to be utilizing the compressor side of it for this this video. And then the last MXR pedal is a Super Comp. This guy has attack, level, sensitivity, and output on it. So let me explain to you what a compressor does, and then we'll get these hooked up one at a time and let you hear the differences. Alright, so if you think of a compressor as the signal that's coming through, like your guitar signal, vocal track, whatever you're compressing, it's going to have a highest volume and a lowest volume. What a compressor does is puts those closer together, so squashes your sound, and then gives you control over it. Traditional compressors in recording would have a threshold, so once that volume hits the threshold, it would start compressing the signal. Then typically there's a ratio, so once you hit that compression threshold, or once you hit that signal threshold, it's going to start compressing. The ratio is going to be how much compression there is. On these pedals, that's going to be most likely your sensitivity or your amount of sustain. They're going to give you that how squashed that signal is going to get once it becomes compressed. And then there's attack and release. So the attack is how quickly that compressor engages. The release is how that tails off. So good natural sounding compression in a recording sense is typically that 2, 3, 4 to 1 ratio. You don't usually see a lot of extremes. One of the things with the acoustic guitars through these, I like to run them really compressed, pretty heavy compression, because if I'm playing something really lightly, I want that guitar signal to be brought up and louder in a live setting. If I'm playing more reserved and laid back, I still want that to come across and be heard well. Especially with harmonics, you'll notice a huge difference. If you hit a harmonic note, it'll just sing through because that compressor is going to increase the gain and make it sound at a volume level that you aren't used to hearing. It just makes it more apparent that it's there. And then if I'm really laying into something, it also evens that out. In looping, like if you're going to be looping signal, a compressor is your best friend because it keeps that rhythm track at a volume that now my lead tracks or my other rhythm tracks can kind of sit with or sit on top of without having this huge drastic change in volume. So we're going to get started. I'm going to move the camera, get it up close to the pedal so you know exactly what we're running. Throw some headphones on. We're utilizing an external microphone just directly into the camera. So as far as coloration, that will alter the sound a little bit. It's just a natural boom mic for a camera instead of utilizing kind of recording studio mics. Everything's going to color the sound a little bit, but this will just give you a good reference to how that compressor is going to react, and we'll go from there. Let me grab my guitar, playing a Breedlove Jeff Bridges signature model through the compressor and a reverb, and then right into the Troubadour 30 Ibanez's acoustic amp. So here we go. All right, well, I suppose I should let you know what my favorite... I'm going to move this back, pointed towards me. All right, so after playing all four of the pedals, I'm just going to go in reverse order as far as my personal preference. So last, and certainly the least, out of all of them, as far as what I prefer, now tone is completely subjective. So just because I think one thing doesn't mean that somebody else's opinion does not matter. But the MXR Custom Comp does not have a lot of range to it. It kind of does its thing. It's a little bit too bright. As far as the compression sound, the coloration of the sound, both MXR pedals were a little too bright for me. But they sounded good. It works good, does what it's supposed to, just not my preference. Same with the Super Comp. The difference of having the attack level sweepable, that you can change the attack level on it. I feel like the Custom Comp, it's more of that in between, like super compression and really light compression. It's kind of a good in between. The same with the Super Comp. It doesn't give you an ultra compressed signal, but it's just the color of it my ears don't like as much. The CS3 was my old standby. When I bought the NuX Masamune year and a half ago, it's been a while, and replaced it, I wasn't 100% sold on the NuX. And then after playing with it for a year and going back to the CS3 for this little demo, and then also a few weeks back I took a CS3 home to try in my rig, and still love the pedal. Has a great color to it. I think for a $100 less or $110 and less pedal, the CS3s are a phenomenal compressor. You can't beat them. They're a great price point. But I still am going to go with the Masamune. I like the compression color of it a little bit more. I also like the Boss and the Masamune have a heavier compression to them. You can crank that sustain up and get a much heavier compression. Now I'm bottomed out on the Masamune, so I can't go anymore with it. On the CS3, this guy gives you the most compression out of all four of the pedals, so I had a lot more control. I was actually borderline feeding back there at some points, but this pedal is a great option because of the amount of compression, and that's probably why I liked it in the first place. Is it got me that heavy compression sound. Just the color isn't as transparent as the NuX, and I prefer, with these Breedlove guitars, I actually have preferred the NuX compression. So hopefully that gives you some information on what a compressor does for your signal. If you're an acoustic guitar player and aren't using it in your signal train, your signal train. I'm going to start calling it a signal train instead of a signal chain. Train. Okay. This video's over. I'll see you next time. One thing I forgot. Here are the settings I was running.